Cinema, my name is Blake. Today we are here with Black Widow, a new Marvel film. I'm talking about a new Marvel film, what's going on? This is a spoiler-free review. I'm not going to spoil anything. I will have a spoiler review coming after this. When that will get done, who knows, but that'll be a proper, longer, more in-depth review. But this is just what you need, and what do I think of Black Widow? In a society where you either love something or you hate something, it's kind of complicated. It's not a bad movie, it's not as bad as everyone says it is, but it's not great either. It's not great by any means. It's like Thor: The Dark World. You're glad that you saw it, but you don't really feel like going back and needing to watch it again. A bit like WandaVision, this feels like what it does is just enhance the experience when you go back to watch through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm someone that really wanted a Black Widow film and I thought it could be absolutely badass. I was really banging for this movie to be great. But post-Endgame, the time for a Black Widow film has passed and it feels a bit redundant. All my worries I had when watching the trailers that, you know, that this movie might ultimately have a very hard time justifying its existence. This film wasn't made because Marvel had a story in mind of what they wanted to tell. This was a film made purely of obligation, or at least it feels like it's made of obligation. People like me have been banging on about a Black Widow film since 2010 now, so it's been 11 years. So we've been clamoring at Marvel for years for this film, and now it feels like they've turned around and gone, oh yeah, well, yeah, right, well, fuck it, let's just churn this film out because, you know, they really want one, we'll just do it. We don't really have a story to tell or anything important to add, we're just doing it for the sake of doing it. Which for me was a massive worry about this film when they announced it and it being after Endgame and watching Endgame. It just was like, what are they gonna do now? So obviously the film was gonna take place in the past, but I thought we were gonna go really far back to proper Black Widow assassin-like, all the stuff teased in Age of Ultron, with her past being all jaded, and all this really darker assassin-like, just when she was a villain. But without spoiling it, it didn't go back in time to a place that I wanted the film, or a story with Black Widow to be told. So very early on in the film, we're let in on what time that this film takes place, or where exactly in the timeline it fits. And as soon as I got let in on that, I don't know, it was like I was hit with disappointment immediately, and it tainted my whole, what I thought and what this movie, it wasn't like I've come in and I've got very high expectations and it's gonna be this, otherwise I'm gonna be very upset with it. It was like, here's some really interesting stuff we could do. Well, all of that's completely cut off now. We're gonna tell something that's much less interesting no matter how we tell it or how good we make it. It's just not as interesting. It's not really bad like everyone says. The acting around on everyone is really solid. The acting is solid as hell. It's the story they've been given. Like, everything just feels like it's hollow. Like, not much thought was put into it. Like, they were greenlighting the thing, but then once they got into production and they just kept making the thing, and Kevin Feige was there and he was signing off and he's like, yeah, whatever, we'll just give him the Black Widow film. Seen the final cut and went, it's not great like everything else we've done before, but we can't go back and fuck with it now. And in combination with COVID stopping the thing and then starting it again and then trying to release it, and it was like, just, we'll put it out, it'll be what it'll be, and then we'll just keep going with what we're actually building with Loki, which is really good. Got heaps of episode by episode reviews, check them out if you want. But that's what the film comes off as. It comes off as just very hollow with no leading person in charge behind the thing. I'm so mixed on it. I've just seen it. I'm like 5 minutes out of seeing the film. It's very fresh in mind. It's all over the place. In the spoiler review, which I'll do after, I'm going to go in-depth everything, much longer, address everything you want to hear if you've already seen it. Hopefully I can get that up tomorrow, we'll just see where we're at. Some other elements I haven't addressed. Taskmaster as the villain, very disappointing. I love Taskmaster as a villain, or I really like him as a villain. I wouldn't, maybe love's a bit too much, but he could have been really cool. Stripped right down to be the very bare minimum here. The action sequences aren't all that memorable as well, and one thing that stood out that really brought it down for me the most out of almost anything that I've seen was the CGI team. What the seriously, it is insanely shoddy. When the film is practical and they're doing practical stunts and application with cars, bikes, whatever, it looks really, really good. And then whenever it cuts to CG, you can tell it is CG so quickly and so vividly. The way bodies move or fall, it's real ragdolly and rubbery. There was a point early on in the film where it was so bad I audibly laughed out loud, and I shouldn't be. This is not Fast and Furious 9 as much as it wants to be, with the gun switching and the everything's about family. It's actually got some pretty insane parallels to F9, but if I'm gonna take shots in Fast and Furious 9, I've got to take shots here too, it's only fair. I'm really starting to become a film critic now, aren't I? I'm just a guy that loves movies. I just want to talk about movies all day. But yeah, the CG is so shoddy. The highlight for me of the film, probably David Harbour. He was probably my favourite element here. Scarlett Johansson again does a great job with everything she's given, although there's some lines towards the end that are very, very questionable. Talk about that in spoilers. Otherwise, Black Widow. What am I going to grade Black Widow? Didn't think about that, alright. I really need more time to settle on this film before I grade it properly, and I might change what I grade it in the spoiler review, and that being my definitive grade. But as of right now, I'm going to give Black Widow a 5. It's average. It's not bad. It's not great either. It's just average. An average superhero run. I'm pretty sure that's what I gave Thor: The Dark World. I'm glad I saw it. I don't really feel like going back and watching it again, or watching it over and over, or it being a classic. It doesn't beat Wonder Woman here for me in female superhero films. I don't know why a female superhero film is so hard to do. It's like the argument, oh, a black superhero film, could it be done? Could it be successful? Yeah, it's just the color of someone's skin. Yes, if you tell it with great actors and great storytellers and you have a great production, then yeah, it doesn't matter. If you're white, black, Asian, a woman, it doesn't matter. You can make great movies, and I don't know why. It just gets dumbed down and brought down to a level where it's about that makes a movie a success or not. Or the idea that a movie like Ghostbusters 2016, oh, it's great because woman power and an ideology. It's not great. It's not a great movie. I'm all for a bit of women power, but that doesn't make the film good. It's a shame. I don't hate this movie, but I see it more of a disappointment. It's not even a disappointment, it's a missed opportunity. There was potential for so much, and we were given the bare minimum. So that's my thoughts on Black Widow. What did you think of the film? Did you think it was really fucking good and I'm completely wrong? Did you think it was just absolute hot garbage and I'm being too easy on it? Let me know what you think. If you haven't already, consider subscribing or dropping a like. Really helps the channel out, the algorithm out. We're almost at 100, which is crazy. We're almost at 100. Thank you. I'll address that when we get there. If you've made it all the way through to the end of the video, you're a bloody legend, and hopefully I can catch you in the spoiler review video that I'm going to do after, probably tomorrow. I doubt I'll get it out today, but I'll give you this one because this is, you gotta have some of my thoughts. Hopefully my opinion doesn't sway too much from what I've said here. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.